Well, it's a big show.
Well, it's the big show. That's right, folks. Alex Dorio and Travis White here with our side podcast here, available exclusively a preview for all you listeners out there. We are going episode by episode through the Big Show one at a time. Travis, are you ready to start this journey through the Big Show's latest cinematic opus?
Well, I can't wait, man. Big Show, Paul White, also my actual brother's name, so I'm a big fan of Big Show. My brother, I always wanted to see him on TV. Big Show, I thought he was comedic in SNL back when, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought that's where, piqued my interest. I wanted to see him get his own show, and it only took 2 decades for him to finally get one.
Finally, the moment has arrived.
Yes.
Folks, we're covering episode 1 here called Prototype. The episode description: the Big Show's teenage daughter from a previous relationship comes to live with him, his wife Cassie, and their I can't do this, man. I can't. I can't do it. There's no. You couldn't pay me enough.
Let's give this. Wait, are you going to say that this Big Show is not going to make the final cut?
Oh, there you go, my friend. Yeah. Let's just talk about a Big Show match, okay?
All right, let's just do that instead. So,
all right.
Yeah, we tried. We gave it a good old college try. I haven't had any free time to watch it, but I definitely will check out at least episode 1. I do promise that.
Your kids
at least
might love
4
it.
minutes of episode 1.
Might be their new favorite show.
Oh,
show.
Yeah, might be. They might.
I got you.
All right, creatures of the night, welcome to episode 141 of our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time. This is Talking Taker. We're talking the Undertaker. We're digging up his legendary career, one pay-per-view match at a time, and we thank you for joining us for yet another round of Dead Man Talking. Hope we didn't scare you guys out there. For now, the Big Show will remain a figment of our imagination. The Big Show. The Big Show is unfortunately very real, but my name's Alex Dorio, and I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner. He is literally the brother of Paul White, Mr. Travis White. Travis.
It is the Big Show.
It was a tough choice, though, because we're talking No Mercy 2008 here, and man, what a drop-off in quality this is between what we just talked about, some of the best stuff we ever talked about, and now the Big Show has to come in and ruin everything.
Dude, this would be like going to a drive-in double feature, and you go and you watch The Dark Knight, and then immediately when Dark Knight goes off, the next movie that comes up is Norbit with Eddie Murphy. That would be like the cinematic equivalent of this.
How would you ever pair those two movies together?
I don't think it happened to me. I saw someone drive in, and Norbit came on and we left.
I don't think it was The Dark Knight.
I don't think it was. It was something else.
It was some... I want to say it was a stupid comedy, but...
Yeah, it was some dumb comedy. But yeah, Norbit came on and then we all left.
We all drove away.
Yeah, we drove away. Yeah.
We already paid for it.
We already paid to be there and we drove away. So,
I read that drive-ins are like booming right now.
Yeah,
they're still
are.
open and stuff.
Yeah, good for them, man.
Yeah.
They're essential.
Absolutely. I love going to the drive-in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway, like we said, we're talking No Mercy 2008 here. The Big Show and The Undertaker starting. This show is about to become the Big Show for the next 3 weeks here as we talk about Undertaker Big Show trilogy.
Who did we tick off?
2008 trilogy here. Although, we'll get into it. It's not as bad as you might think, but there's some fun stuff to talk about here, Travis. But before we dig into all the fun stuff, Travis, I wanted to give you a moment to reflect on some of the news that we talked about last week. Like I mentioned on last week's episode, we recorded that before 2 huge events in the wrestling industry took place. 2 very sad ones. The releases of about 20-25 or so WWE employees and superstars. A lot of our favorite guys that we've talked about through the years here on this podcast. And then the very next day, the passing of legendary Hall of Famer, the greatest ring announcer of all time, Howard Finkel, the Fink himself. So I spliced in a couple quick thoughts before the episode last week, but Travis, if you wanted to say anything about those two things, I wanted to give you the chance to do so.
Yeah, no. Last week, April was a tax day, right? April 15th was a terrible day in the wrestling industry. I mean, I understand. I work for a big multi-billion-dollar corporation, so I understand the economics of it. I'm seeing it at work right now too, with them trying to stay open and this and that and the other, and who needs to stay and how are they restructuring things. So I get the economics of it. It's not Vince McMahon's not the enemy here, but it just is what it is. You know, they're not doing live television. They're not doing live events. They're not getting money from that. WrestleMania is going to take a huge, that's a lot of their money from the year. So I get it economically, but doesn't mean it hurts any less. Like to see your guys you really love to go, get canned. And guys that have been there forever, like Mike Chioda, that was definitely a surprise. We were talking before we went on the air here about, I thought Gallows and Anderson was a big surprise. They'd just been in the Boneyard match, and Hawkins and Ryder, I'm not surprised, but I would have seen it coming like maybe 5-10 years ago. Like why now? But it is what it is. Hopefully some of those guys can be back when there's more room to breathe economically. And I know that a lot of those producers I was very shocked with, but allegedly most of those are furloughed, so they can come. They're still getting benefits and all right now, but they're not getting paid, but they can come back once this all blows over. So that was kind of reassuring to know, because I'd love to see Hurricane Helms back and some of the other guys backstage. Lance Storm and Finley. Like Lance Storm just closed his wrestling academy last November to take this job. So he lost his main source of income to take this job, and now he lost this. So again, I understand the economics of it, but it still sucks. I just hope those guys can get their jobs back or find their footing, because again, the wrestlers can't go find work right now because nobody's wrestling. So hopefully they were smart with their money, or Hawkins and Ryder, they could sell a lot of their figures. In all seriousness, I'm kind of kidding, but kind of seriously they could, yeah. So to make money off of it, and then on just piggyback off that, just Howard Finkel, that just was like a punch to the gut, man. I didn't realize he was as old as he was. Was he 69 years old or something?
Something like that.
So I guess he has to be. He was the first employee, so. That it sucks, but he hasn't been around very much recently. But in fact, my favorite recent memory of him is Survivor Series 2011 when Punk and Del Rio, and Punk has him as his ring announcer. That was really, really cool, really, really special. It was at the Garden for those of you who don't remember. So really cool. And I just I always put over how I was a big WCW mark in childhood, but I still liked Howard Finkel he's the voice of WWF to me. He always will be, so I won't get to hear "Hello," and his voice is always fun to imitate,
Oh my gosh.
Gallows did a great imitation of it, so it was "Hello, how are you?" It's just such an iconic voice, and we'll miss him. But they did a good little video on, I think it was SmackDown on Friday for it, and probably on Raw as of this recording. We're filming during Raw, so anyway, yeah, we'll miss that guy, and he's given us a lot of good memories here on Talking Taker, announcing the new World Heavyweight Champion. I think at WrestleMania 13 he announced him. So anyway, but yeah, we'll miss him too. Rest in peace.
Absolutely. I think I said on here last week that when you're playing with your figures as a kid, that's the voice you're imitating when you're introducing everybody out to the ring, and when you're when we'd have play wrestling matches just in the backyard, we'd pretend to say, that's the announcer voice that you used to use. And it's really kind of ironic that they released all these people, and then the next day the longest tenured employee of WWE passes away. Not only was he the first employee, he was never fired.
Right.
I think I don't think he was working the past few years, but I don't think he ever got.
No, he was still getting paid.
I'm sure. Yeah, he's probably still getting paid and all this sort of stuff. So think about all the guys throughout the years that have been with the company that Vince has had, love-hate relationships with. Yeah. But not only was he the first employee, he was always there. There was never, his role changed certainly,
right,
but he was always there. So that says something. And it says something about his relationship with Vince McMahon, I'm sure too.
And he never got fired.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not making light of his death, but like, he never got fired, not once. He passed away, unfortunately. So, like, Vince will never have that on him, So,
That's right.
Yeah, because a lot of guys came and went, and even like JR was Vince's right hand man. Pritchard, they've came and they've went, and yeah, you're right. Finkel was there the whole time, so pretty cool.
Very cool, and like you said, we hope to see some of these guys that got released here in the future. It's not out of the question. Gallows had gone and come back, and Hawkins had gone and come back. Finley, I believe, got fired once before. Now he's back. So,
last year he got fired.
Was that it? Last year?
Yeah, with the Alicia Fox. Like, she was drunk at a taping or whatever last year or something. Yeah, he got fired and brought back again last year, so... Yeah, it's happened to him before, but we'll talk about a lot of those people actually tonight on this episode.
We've got a few of them on here, so let's lighten things up here a little bit as we take our time traveling hearse back to August of 2008, and we pick up, like we said, if you hadn't listened to last week's episode, please go listen to it. Go watch that.
Good heavens, yeah.
The finale of the Undertaker Edge rivalry inside Hell in a Cell, one of the best matches we talked about. We had a lot of fun talking about it too. One of my favorite episodes. But
yeah, me too.
we're going to pick up on the SmackDown after that, after Undertaker has sent Edge straight to hell. This is August 22nd, 2008, and Vickie Guerrero, we saw her applauding and happy that her husband had been sent to hell at the SummerSlam pay-per-view, and she's going to open up the show in a backstage promo saying, it's time to move on, and she says some of her decisions were certainly unpopular over the past few months, but, that wasn't the real her. She blames Edge for influencing her and controlling her and all of that stuff. And she says the real Vickie Guerrero is benevolent and compassionate. And she felt like she was forced to fall in love. And then she says Edge put her through a living hell by cheating on her, but now he's living in hell. And then lets out this Wicked Witch of the West cackle.
Yeah, no.
It's so cartoonish. But she says that she's free to be a real self now, and she feels so good about reinstating The Undertaker. She wants the crowd to join her and giving him a standing ovation later tonight. So later on tonight, she's going to try to suck up to The Undertaker and try to get on his good side. And then she announces something sort of infamous here, and that would be the championship scramble match for SmackDown at Unforgiven. So we'll get to Unforgiven here in a couple weeks and talk about that match, a unique match idea that was not long for this world. But
well, they blew through the whole idea in one night. I mean, why did they do three of them in one night? Come on. It's a brand new concept. You can use three of them in the same night.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But they're going to have qualifying matches all this evening. And the Big Show, our man, the Big Show, he thinks the show should be all about him. And he thinks it's obvious that he's going to be in one of these scramble matches tonight, or qualifying matches for the scramble. And Vickie, unfortunately, has to let him know that there was a slight oversight. And unfortunately, he's not going to be involved in any of the scramble qualifying matches. So Big Show kind of shakes it off. He's kind of cool about it. He's like, oh, sure, totally, I understand.
I'm just so excited to have a qualifying match. Who's my opponent?
Actually, Big Show, with all that was going on, you're not in the match. You're not gonna be here tonight. I'm sorry. It was an oversight. It was an oversight. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I understand. It's okay.
He's lying. We get to a 10-man battle royal here featuring, the top contenders of SmackDown like Jimmy Wang Yang and Scotty Goldman, the Brian Kendrick, and the Brian Kendrick, of course, is joined by your favorite wrestler, Travis. Your best friend that you met in New York, Big Zeke.
Oh, I almost ate crow because this guy. Yeah.
He almost forced a crow down your throat.
Yeah, down my throat. The Ryan Braddock is in this match too. He wasn't long for this. Talking about future endeavor. Yeah. Good heavens, that guy was a.
Waste
You
of
thought
space.
Kevin Thorne was bad. What about this guy?
They look
I'll
like they
take
could be
Kevin
related.
Thorne. I take Kevin Thorne over Ryan Braddock any day.
Absolutely, all day. Well, Big Show, he's sick of this match too, so he jumps in the ring and eliminates everybody, tosses them all over the top rope, but the Big Zeke actually catches Brian Kendrick on the outside, so that allows him to re-enter the match, and that's how Brian Kendrick ends up in the Unforgiven Scramble match and gets to have
Which
an
Brian Kendrick?
iconic moment. The Brian Kendrick.
Oh, okay.
The one and only, man.
Okay.
Later on in the night, Vickie's with La Familia, and they're getting ready for her to come out later on in the night. They're teasing some tension between them still, as Chavo is a little bit ticked off that he didn't get into any of these qualifying matches either.
Sure.
It just makes sense. He's family. Former ECW champion.
Yeah.
And they're wondering why Undertaker hasn't shown up here tonight. And Chavo thinks Taker might be holding out because he's holding a grudge or he's a little bit vindictful.
Yeah. He also butchers the English language just like his mom or his aunt. I mean,
It's her second language, you know.
I don't think.
What? Oh, okay. Anyway, Vickie and the Familia come out, and she delivers a prepared speech because she's not so great at doing really long promos quite yet.
Right.
But she says, I consider myself a great woman, a great woman who's not too big to apologize for her actions, who can admit to her mistakes and stand on her own 2 feet and look adversity in the face. Ha ha ha. Funny. 'Cause
Yes.
she's in a wheelchair. And she brings out The Undertaker to give a standing ovation to him. And so the crowd stands up on their feet, including one fan who has become famous throughout the years, the Brock Lesnar Affliction t-shirt guy.
Yeah.
Does he still show up anymore?
He's
Yeah.
still at shows. Yep. He
Same
still wears
same
that shirt.
shirt?
Yeah. He got real famous. That was the night after WrestleMania 2012 when Lesnar came back or whatever. That was the night everybody noticed him. He's the guy that does like when Lesnar comes out. But
Yeah.
he was apparently around back in 08, man. I noticed him right here in the like front row, just
Man.
booing Vickie. It's pretty cool. So yeah, but yeah, he's still at shows. You see him a lot.
I didn't see him at WrestleMania this year.
You didn't?
No.
Look closer.
Okay.
He's there.
I saw a different fan.
He's in a cloak of invisibility.
That's right. Well, of course, Taker does come out. He's arrived to the ring, takes his time coming out, does his big, long entrance here. And Vickie, she's actually really funny here. She's pointing out that, you okay?
Just, what if WWE would have put a green smiley face shirt on the front row at the Performance Center? That would have been amazing. 'Cause that guy's always in the front row. If they just had one stage, that would have been epic.
Just
Anyway,
cardboard
sorry.
cutouts of like all the most
Yeah.
famous fans.
Yeah, the dude with the long hair and his grandma or whatever, and
Yeah.
then that guy. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Shocked Undertaker guy.
Sorry, I
love
couldn't get it out.
Well, anyway, Vickie, like I said, she's actually really funny here as she's trying to apologize to Undertaker, and she's like, it's like she hasn't seen the Undertaker over the past 20 years. 'Cause
Right.
She's just like,
If you need more time, then we can talk about this next week. Can you please accept my apology? I'm really, it's from my heart. I really want to apologize to you.
really downplaying it all and kind of stumbling and stuttering. And she's like, I just really want to apologize to you. Like, are you going to forgive me or what? And Undertaker's not saying anything. Vickie eventually gets down on her knees and begs for forgiveness. And Undertaker delivers one of my top 10 promos
Whoa.
of all time here. As he yanks the mic out of her hand and says,
Look at me, woman. I didn't come out here for an apology. I come for your soul.
And then
That's it.
That's it. Scared the crap out of me.
Yes.
And then La Familia surround Undertaker after he says all that, and he throws the mic down. He gets ready to fight them and starts to take them out, but Bam Neely ends up taking Undertaker down. The whole Familia swarms around him. Chavo grabs a chair as the rest of everybody's holding Undertaker, but Taker boots Chavo down, headbutts him out of the ring, and then chokeslams Ryder and Hawkins. I think for like the last time here. This is going to be basically the end of La Familia as we know it here in this moment. Vickie has managed to escape, and she's at the top of the ramp, and Taker does the throat slash to her, as that's really the story here over the next 6 or 7 weeks or so. Is The Undertaker wants Vickie Guerrero's soul. He's taking it to the extreme.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand. So it's going to get way out of hand here too. We're going to dial it back to 1992, 3-ish era here for some of this stuff. So yeah, the next week on SmackDown on August 29th, the Undertaker actually opens the show. He comes out and there's lots of RIP Vickie or RIP Vickie and Edge signs in the crowd, and he comes out and they, commentary's recapping last week what happened and stuff, and what he did to Edge at in the Hell in a Cell and everything. And so Taker's in the middle of the ring and he says, "Vickie Guerrero, you want me to forgive you of all your sins? Well, there's something I need to tell you. I'm not the forgiving kind. So I will be coming for you, and I will be coming for your soul.
And once I take it, you will burn. Burn in hell."
So, dude, he is just on another level here. Yeah.
He's not messing around.
No. And during this time, we see the 45-degree TV angle where La Familia is watching backstage, and they kind of slowly back away from her, and she's left alone in the bedroom in the whoa, yikes. She's left alone in her office there. And
not quite alone.
Not quite alone.
She has a camera person in there.
Right, she has a camera guy in there. So, and then Taker does the Shakespeare pose in the ring, and all 4 ring posts go up in flames. And so I was wondering at the time, I was like, why is Taker opening the show? This is a big story. But then it's like, oh, that makes sense because they had to get the goo off the post for the rest of the flammable goo off the post for the rest of the show. So pretty cool visual though there, And again, La Familia has gone out of the room, and Vickie goes to leave, and she can't get out because the door is locked. And from the inside, apparently, I don't know, from the outside, who knows, but the door's locked. She can't get out.
Didn't understand that either.
Yeah, well, technically you can see the lock on the knob, but we'll give him a pass here. So we see Taker making his way up the ramp as Vickie's watching on the screen, just kind of terrified out of her mind. So, but yeah, she's not alone. She's got Mr. Cameraman in there with her. So backstage, she's trying to make a phone call in her office, but the telephone lines don't work, man. Taker's supernatural. Cutting the cord back then.
We didn't have cell phones back in 2008. Oh,
no.
Wait a second. We had iPhones in 2000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, she throws the phone against the wall, and then Jesse and Festus take on Hawkins and Ryder, which in my notes, I just wrote like 3/4 of those guys just lost their jobs last week. It sucks. So, Festus, Hawkins, and Ryder all just got canned a week ago. So yeah. Jesse got canned a long time ago. But anyway, Big Show comes down and he decimates Hawkins and Ryder and Jesse. And I think that was kind of neat here, though, because as he beats them up, the bell rings, which means that Festus goes back into his catatonic state, so he can't attack him. Like, he just kind of goes back into that. So kind of funny. Yeah, it was kind of funny. And Big Show gets on the mic and he's like,
"Hi."
He's just like super goofy Big Show at this point. He's like, "Hi, guys." And he says, it seems that Vickie is under so much pressure that she's overlooked superstars here on SmackDown. And he fears that, or he says that he'll never, ever be looked over or overlooked again. There'll be no more oversights. And he says, "Look at what just happened." And he's like, "My bad. Oops. Just call it an oversight." And he leaves. So, kind of adding Big Show into the story between Taker and Vickie. So, she's all frustrated again in her office, and I just wrote in my notes, I think the cameraman should be as well, because he's locked in there with raging Vickie Guerrero that and he's not scared. But anyway, the last segment of the night is Vickie again freaking out in her office, and she's crying and trying to collect her thoughts and get herself together, and the lights go out, and she screams multiple times as the screen just fades to black. So that's how we end the show that night. So, yeah, that sucked.
That's what I put in my notes. That sucked.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, you did, yes, yeah,
supposed to be like a cliffhanger, but it's just stupid. It's like
yeah,
we wasted all our good stuff on the Edge and
Yeah,
Vickie
no.
and Taker's storyline, and now we're just back to some really played out Undertaker stuff here, and it's just not good. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why is the cameraman in there?
right. Why was the camera guy in there?
Why's the-
Anyway,
Why does she not have a cell phone? Why does
I don't know.
the lights go out and nothing happens?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, R-Truth makes his re-debut this night. So they've been showing vignettes for him, and he makes his re-debut this night, and so do the Bella Twins. So,
Well,
and they all still work for the company.
yeah, at least R-Truth is still around.
And he's great. He's hilarious.
He's
And
still great.
Fantastic.
Well, now we go to the next week, September 5th, 2008, and this is actually the go-home show for Unforgiven, which we're going to talk about here, but Undertaker does not technically have a match on there, so that's why this is the No Mercy episode, but there's a pretty big angle that happens there. So Taker, once again, he's been reading some demonic literature or something. And
Yeah.
he is taking notes as he says, "They say the anticipation of death is far worse than the death itself. And I'm going to let you decide, Vickie Guerrero, because in Unforgiven, I'm coming for your soul." He says he wants to leave her a few things to think about. He wants her to think about his hand squeezing her throat until the strength leaves her body. He wants to think about her cold, lifeless body being confined to a rich mahogany prison that is her coffin.
At least he's got good wood picked out.
He does. He doesn't spare any expense with that.
No.
And then he says,
And as you lay there gasping for air, I will set that coffin ablaze. And that is when your lungs will begin to fill with the acrid stench of your own burning flesh. And that earthly inferno will descend you to the fiery bowels of Hades, where you can rejoin your accursed husband, Edge.
not mincing any words.
No. That's got Vincent Mann written all over it.
Absolutely, man.
He says the acrid stench of your burning. What is that even? That's not a human
not a
word
word
that anybody
anyone
uses. Yeah. Only literature professors use that. Or the guys with the calendar like Vince had that day.
Exactly.
Acrid. Yeah.
Well, I love that JR is like shocked by this promo. He's like, I've never heard any of I can't believe Undertaker would say this. Like, I get Michael Cole doing that, but JR, come on.
Yeah.
You're better than that.
He'd been on Raw for a few
You're
months,
better
few
than
years.
that. Well, Vickie, she didn't hear any of it because she just arrives to the arena afterward.
Right.
Thankfully, she didn't have to hear any of that. And there's an assistant there who's going to wheel her out in her wheelchair. But she screams at this guy and says, "I don't need that anymore." And then runs through the parking lot, screaming at all the cars in the parking lot. She's clearly off her rocker.
Maybe she had some of that green tea that Edge had a few months ago.
She got all her energy back. Well, speaking of a few months ago, you remember, I think it was on the road to WrestleMania or something, we talked about a Big Daddy V and Balls Mahoney match.
Yeah.
And we were like, normally we wouldn't talk about a match like that, but it ends up spiraling into something bigger.
Yeah.
We got a situation like that here, Travis, because we're going to talk about a match between Super Crazy and Ryan Braddock. A rare Super Crazy squash match in the year 2008.
Yeah.
I could not believe this.
Yeah,
I forgot
me
he was still around.
He is super.
He is super sized.
And super crazy. He is crazy. He is super crazy. And yes, super size
He is
crazy.
large and in charge. Well, he doesn't get to celebrate long because the new monster heel on SmackDown, Vladimir Kozlov, he loves WWE. He comes out to beat up Super Crazy. He's been squashing people the past few weeks, and he demands bigger competition on this night. And he gets what he asked for, because the Big Show comes out and answers his call. And he's saying he feels a little competitive tonight as well. He challenges Kozlov to a match, and they're squaring off, and the crowd couldn't care less.
No.
But Vickie Guerrero's not having this. That's a pay-per-view main event in her book. So
Yeah. Make the fans pay for that one.
she tells Kozlov to get out of the ring and tells Big Show that he has interfered with her show for the very last time. And if she thought she was unfair last time, then he hasn't seen anything yet. So she tells him to leave or she's going to fine him. And this is definitely not an oversight. So Big Show, he storms off and leaves. And Vickie's getting nuclear heat as usual.
Yeah.
Has to ask the crowd to quiet down. And, of course, they continue to boo her out of the building. And she calls out The Undertaker. Vickie Guerrero calls out The Undertaker. She's not afraid of him anymore. She says she already apologized. She begged for forgiveness. And Taker threatened her life. Well, she is the general manager of this show. And she will no longer live in fear. She will no longer be a victim of The Undertaker's psychopathic bloodlust and his perverse fantasies of revenge. Who do you think wrote that one?
Vincent Kennedy, man.
Well, she is calling out The Undertaker at Unforgiven, and she wants The Undertaker to apologize to her. So it's kind of like SummerSlam, where the Jericho HBK feud just had a segment on the show, like the highlight reel. And so at Unforgiven, they're going to trade spots here, and Jericho and Michaels are going to have this really cool no DQ, unsanctioned match. And Undertaker and Vickie, and as we're going to see, the Big Show are just going to have a big angle on here. So they're trying to stack or, stagger these matches on these pay-per-views here. As we talk about Unforgiven 2008 here, and this is an interesting show because it's the final Unforgiven pay-per-view.
Yeah, this is the final Unforgiven, and the first one was 10 years before this, which we've covered here, is Kane and Taker's Inferno match. So pretty cool here. 10 years later, this is Quick Loans Arena in Columbus again. I do remember renting this because my interest was piqued by the championship scramble matches, and Brian Kendrick won the title for like 5 minutes or something. So, and that unsanctioned match with Shawn and Jericho was just lights out great. So,
so what's your opinion on the scramble match? I think they only did it one more time after this pay-per-view, where they had, it's 5 guys in there, and it's like a 15-minute time limit, and whoever got the last pin before the bell rings ends up as the champ.
I like the idea in hindsight. I like the idea. I just don't feel like they executed it well. I don't like the interim champ thing. Like, I don't think it. I just think it. Don't say so and so's an interim champ. I just wish it was like whoever gets the last pinfall is the champion. I don't like the whole interim thing because does that mean Brian Kendrick's a title holder or not? Not really. Like, he's not in the lineage, but he won it in this match for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And
plus, it kind of devalues, like, if your main title is flopping hands in 20 minutes, like, that kind of devalues the specialness of it. But I did like the idea. I wish they just hadn't done 3 of them in the same night. I mean, that's like, I don't like when they do 45 Hell in a Cell matches in the same night, or Elimination Chambers, or Money in the Banks. It's like, let's just spread them out.
I agree completely. It's made for a cool graphic where it, gets floated around the internet a lot with Brian Kendrick. It says new WWE champion underneath them. That's what everyone remembers all this for. But I'm surprised, honestly, they haven't brought it back because they bring everything back. They do roll everything back eventually. So wouldn't be surprised to see them do something like this again. They're always looking for new ideas, new old ideas. So
I'm always looking for multi-man matches too nowadays. So
yes,
this is a great multi-man match. So, Vickie wants an apology, and but forgive. I think there's a quote from a great movie, The House Bunny. and it says
Yes.
that forgiveness is more than saying sorry. So just, they should, maybe they watch that movie during this time. I don't know, but it's just a classic song from that movie. So,
Well, you said you've seen Dark Knight like a dozen times. How many times have you seen The House Bunny, Travis?
I'd say twice, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In theater, none. But I
None?
remember, no, I think I rented it maybe once with my wife or something. Maybe it was on TV. I don't know. But I just remember that song. That's the only reason I remember that. But anyway, anywho, that movie sucked. Sorry. But, I used all my Batman material last week.
I
So
know, we
there's
ran
nothing
out,
else
man.
to do. So,
Dude,
but anyway,
I got to pull up The Dark Knight and watch it while I'm sitting at home. I haven't
You
seen
need
it
to.
in forever, man.
you should.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Listening to last week's show, I was like, man, I need to go back and watch it.
Such a great film.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it in years.
Just a good film, even if you don't like superhero movies. It's just a good crime film. Anyway.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
got
a
the
big
DVD.
show. There's a scramble matches or whatever, and Big Show comes out unannounced before. Oh, this is the night that CM Punk gets kicked in the head by Randy Orton and taken out of this scramble match, which I was not a fan of this whole angle here. I hated it, and Jericho has gone on record saying that Vince thought that him and Shawn needed the title on the line for some reason. This feud was so good and he loved it. He wanted to get the title in there, so they just screwed CM Punk and took the title away from him for no reason and put it in the Jericho Shawn Michaels match. So anyway, if you remember this night, Jericho gets beat in the unsanctioned match and then sneaks in and takes Punk's place in the championship scramble and wins the title. So, but before that, Big Show comes out unannounced and he's like,
Hi!
and he's like,
his new
recommends,
catchphrase.
yeah, it's his new thing. He recommends that Mike Adamle replace Punk with him in the scramble match tonight. So he's like, certainly you wouldn't make an oversight like Vickie Guerrero did. So he's sick of the way that Vickie's running SmackDown, and somehow he segues this into a transition to get us to SmackDown your vote this year. It's a election year, so we got to get out and SmackDown our vote. So he tried.
True company man right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
A true patriot.
absolutely a patriot of all patriots, the Big Show. But he gets ready to leave, and Vickie Guerrero comes out because she's like, "Do you not understand English, or is it that you just blatantly disregard it?" So I didn't know that was like an accusation to throw against Big Show. He just disregards English. So I don't know. But she's like, "I gave you explicit instructions to not cause a disruption. So maybe you just are a big dumb giant." So then she says that he's got to deal with the circumstances, and she demands that he leave. Get out of my ring. Well, all of a sudden we get the Latin chanting starting, and the lights dim. Big Show's kind of laughing, and the Druids come out, and they're wheeling a casket down the ringside. And Big Show is just cackling. He is laughing and clapping, and takes a long time to get this casket to the ring, so he is laughing and cackling for a long time.
It's like he just saw the first episode of the Big Show show, man. He is having the time of his life.
That or something else that you put in your notes. Looks like he's Captain Insano.
He does, man. He does.
Yeah. Oh, so
Waterboy
good.
style, man.
Oh yeah,
He just heard from Bobby Boucher, and he is dying.
he is. Well, eventually, Taker, we see Taker appear on Titantron, and he says, as he promised, he was coming for Vickie Unforgiven. The coffin's going to be her final resting place, and he asks if she's willing to go, or if he has to come down and grab her by the throat until she slips into unconsciousness, only to awaken to the sulfuric stench from the flames of hell. So, again, really digging into the thesaurus here.
Thanks, Vince.
Yeah, thanks a lot. But the lights go out, the gong hits, Taker's music hits, and Big Show winds up grabbing Vickie by the arm because she's trying to leave, and he brings her back into the ring, and Taker walks through the smoke and the flames, comes out. Vickie, again, like I said, Vickie brings her back in, or Vickie gets brought back into the ring by Big Show here. Taker winds up opening the casket, looking at her, and then he looks at the casket, and he just shakes her head, looking at her, and gets in the ring, goozles her. And then he's got his hands around her throat like he said that he would. And then out of absolutely nowhere, the Big Show punches him right in the head. And then starts putting the boots to him. And this crowd is booing Big Show. like they just saw the first episode of the Big Show show. And then it's Headbutt City. Here he's headbutting Taker all over the place, punching him, beating him down, taking him outside, slamming him against a barricade. Taker tries to fight back, but he's slamming him against the ring post, the casket. Vickie's kind of watching as this is all happening. Big Show just dumps the casket over, which I would have used it to like beat Taker up some more or choke slam him in or something, but just causes more destruction. The crowd is chanting for Undertaker outside, and Big Show gives him a headbutt, and then he hits, which, you know, I remember this being a finisher of his, the weapon of mass destruction, that WMD punch, but I guess this is where he began it, you know, like they start putting it over here. He punches Taker right in the head, and he falls down, and he gives it to him again, and then he kind of goes over to Taker's lifeless body and gives him the old Chris Jericho cocky kick, and kind of just, you know, tapping him with his foot to see if he's got any fight in him, and Taker doesn't. He's collapsed there. He pulls Taker up, and Vickie winds up. He's like motioning Vickie to come over there, so Vickie gets her a good slap across Taker's face, and then she hawks a loogie and spits on the Undertaker.
Oh yeah.
And I was blown away because I don't remember this happening to Undertaker's life in WWE. And if you watch the replay, bro, I swear that spit went in his mouth because like it disappears. Like the camera angle they give you, and we never see this camera angle again on the future episode. We're going to see the replay of this a lot, but we never see this same camera angle. It's always behind the back when we see it from here on out. So I'm telling you guys, go watch this replay. Almost guarantee you that her loogie went in his mouth, but he just no-sold it and went face down. So they leave together, which comes out of nowhere for me. It's time for Big Show's quarterly heel turn, and he holds the ropes for her and everything. And I mean, I had my idea of where this was headed, and it's not how they're going to execute it, but I want to hear what you have to say when you explain the next SmackDown and what Big Show has to say here. So,
well, I guess my thoughts on Vickie and Big Show's incident is it seems like Vickie's maybe going to join another legendary wrestling family as she spits in the face of somebody she thinks is not cool here. But moving on to the SmackDown, where they explain their actions here. On September 12th, 2008, Vickie Guerrero comes out to address what happened with The Undertaker and Big Show at Unforgiven. And of course, the crowd lets her absolutely have it. I'm sure there are people trying to spit on her. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, I was thinking about it. We've kind of been wondering just what it is about Vickie that elicits this reaction. And I feel like she gives off really strong substitute teacher energy. Where it's just like, you know, you're in school and just the most annoying, awful substitute teacher comes in and you just know she has no place being there. You know you can get away with anything. So you're just like, you know, we were just jerks to substitute teachers a lot of times. And they, you know,
absolutely,
they hated us. We hated them. And I just feel like maybe that's the best comparison I could come up with how the crowd feels about her.
That's perfect. Perfect. She ain't no Teddy Long, that's for sure. Believe that, play.
Exactly. And her voice is so grating. And, you know, it's just, yeah.
She's great.
She leans into it. She's perfect at it. She points out, as she mentioned a few weeks ago, The Undertaker threatened to take her soul, send her to the fiery depths of hell. So, as any sane person would, they wouldn't be too happy about that. So,
no.
But she says he couldn't even take her job because she's still general manager of SmackDown, and she spit in his face. So she points out she didn't do this alone and brings out the Big Show. Now, the Big Show comes out, and he gives his promo here. I don't know if you noticed this, man, but he talked so fast through this promo. Like, it was as if catering was about to close down and he had to get backstage to get his to-go plate before the promo was over. He's like, he's not pausing plates between his sentences, man.
I know, you're right. And like, I just noticed that it was all over. Like, I don't appreciate this explanation. And maybe that's why. I just know he was just like, flustering and just speeding up, and just I felt like he was like, dude, you needed a cue card or something here. It was not, because Big Show's not bad on the mic. No. You know, he's an entertaining guy too, but this was just ugh.
It was like they probably rewrote this a million times.
That's exactly what I think happened.
Rewrote it right before he went out there, and then told him, oh, by the way, we cut the segment down like by 5 minutes. So you got to get all this in, and you have half the time that you thought you did.
Yeah.
Because he's just blowing through this stuff. And it's quite the lengthy explanation that he gives, saying that...
See, a couple of weeks ago, after The Undertaker destroyed Edge at Hell in the Cell, and Vickie's family abandoned her, Vickie approached me and asked for help. Now, at first, I didn't want to do it. I mean, what the hell did Vickie Guerrero ever do for me? So I started thinking, and I realized, who the hell does The Undertaker think he is? Every single SmackDown superstar has to follow the rules and regulations issued by the general manager or they're out of a job, and that includes me.
After Undertaker destroyed Edge and Vickie's family abandoned her, Vickie approached him for help, and at first he didn't want to do it, but he started thinking about it, and he wants to know, who does Taker think he is? Because every SmackDown superstar has to follow the same rules and regulations or else they're out of a job. But Undertaker thinks he's special, that he's above all that, so Big Show says Undertaker may be above many things, but he's not above him. And he follows the rules on SmackDown because he knows what's best on SmackDown, and he knows what's best for everyone. And he sees a good thing with his alliance with Vickie, and there won't be any wedding rings or sweet nothings whispered in each other's ear because they're a true power couple, and they'll keep SmackDown in order, and she'll help him get the world title around his waist, but he's going to help Vickie get what she wants, and that's an apology, because if Taker's not sorry now, he'll make personally sure that he is. And that's about the speed Big Show gave that promo.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. And, man, I just don't... He explains it, ish, but I really do think they made this up after the heel. I think they were just like, we're going to have him turn heel and work with Taker. We'll figure it out later, because here's my armchair quarterback in here. My hindsight looking. Why don't you just have him not help Vickie out of the ring at Unforgiven? Just, he does what he does to Taker, and he leaves. He comes out SmackDown, and he's like, how are you going to overlook me now? You can't possibly overlook, like, I made a statement on the biggest dog in the yard. You know, like, I just thought that would have been, and then they could kind of form that bond there. Like, look what I can do to him. I can give him what, I can make him apologize to you. I beat him up. I let them. I just thought that it was such a sudden, like, they hadn't planted any seeds of this at all, and it's just like they've been at each other for 3 weeks, and all of a sudden they concocted this before it happened. How did they know the Druids are going to be there? You know, I don't know. I understand it's wrestling, but I just really, it just frustrated me.
Yes, that felt so contrived, and what you said could logically make sense. Vickie could be like, look, I know we don't like each other, but we could help each other out here. I can give you what you want. You can protect me, give me what I want. But you're right. They retcon it and make it like they had this grand plan over the past few weeks. And yeah, it's just silliness. And it's only going to get sillier, man. Everything about Edge and Undertaker felt so natural and organic and real. And everything about this build-up feels so fake.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. So that takes us to the next. We're going to fake. That takes us to the next SmackDown. This is September 19th, 2008. We got Vickie and the Big Show. That could be a spinoff of the Big Show show.
Yeah. Vickie loves Show.
Vickie and Show are backstage in her outfit, and he's in his wrestling outfit. Like, he's in his singlet, just sitting there with her. Like, it's just weird. Well, Eve Torres walks in and is like, do you think she's a backstage interviewer at this point?
Hi, Vickie, Big Show.
Hi, what can I do for you?
Well, I had a few questions I wanted to ask you for an interview.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Do you think The Undertaker is here tonight? And if so, do you think he'll be seeking retribution?
Next question, Eve.
I love that that's her first question.
Yeah.
Do you think Undertaker is here tonight?
Yeah. Works for you.
Do you think he's here?
Yeah. And then they're like, have a seat. And Big Show is like, I'll show you why your question is totally irrelevant. And he cues up. He's got this remote control in his hand that is going to eventually become the remote, like the MacGuffin of the night. Like, this is the thing of the night, is this special remote control he has. So he cues up the beautiful beam footage of him beating Taker Unforgiven on VCR, by the way. Still, it's 2008. He's got a VCR queued up for it. Later on, we're going to see them backstage on the same couch. Now, they're next to each other on the same couch, which just looks really weird. And Vickie's like, if he shows up, if Taker shows up, he's going to get on his knees and apologize for everything that he's done to me.
You humble him, and I'll break him.
Very good. I like that.
It's just like, copyright Iron Sheik. Will make you humble. But Vickie says she wants the same thing to happen in No Mercy that happened to Unforgiven. So she then has the production, Big Show then has that remote control that controls the production truck, and we see the same footage again. So that's number 2 tonight. The exact same footage of the Unforgiven beatdown.
Yep. Same
length and all. So then later on, Big Show runs into Vickie's office and says that he just saw that Taker was here. I see he's here. Then we see a camera come in the locker room from like Undertaker's perspective, and it walks in, and Big Show's got his hands up like he's about to fight Floyd Mayweather again, and Vickie's hiding behind him, and she's like, no, it's okay, I got this. On your knees, you foul creature.
Now, apologize.
Vickie, I'm sorry.
That's not good enough. On your knees, kiss my feet, and apologize.
As we see from his camera angle, or his point of view, he leans down to kiss her feet, and the camera at this point pans back over this Undertaker's shoulder, and we see that it is just Chavo Guerrero dressed as Taker. And they're cackling and having a great time, just laughing like it's episode 3 of Big Show. Just dying laughing at the laugh. There should be a laugh track
It's
here.
about the same quality, I believe.
Oh yeah, without question. And then Big Show is like, you know what? Let's watch that again. And he hits that footage for a 3rd time.
He's so proud.
He is, and I think he's got the remote control from Click. Christopher Walken and Adam Sandler, his boy Adam Sandler. We're talking about in The Water Boy. Maybe it's a connection there.
That's right.
But he's got this magical remote that can just play this footage on demand, like throughout the production truck. I mean, he pushes play in the locker room, and it plays on my TV at home. So it's just fantastic.
Well, I wish we could have magically fast forwarded through all of this.
Yes. Well, later on, Chavo comes in where Hawkins, Ryder, and Bam are. They're in Vickie's office, and Chavo says that he needs to watch the footage from Unforgiven again, and he makes him leave. He's like, you guys get out of here. I got to watch this footage. So I don't know what he thought it actually was, if it was why he needed to be alone to watch this footage.
I got an idea.
I got an idea. I don't understand. But he hits that magic remote, and we literally have to watch this footage for a 4th time tonight. And this is 4 times in one show we've seen this. And the screen then starts to flicker, and we see these Undertaker symbols coming on Chavo's TV. And we see, the little creepy girls and the throne and all this stuff. Just iconic, iconography from The Undertaker. And then Taker's face appears on TV. And Chavo turns around and does some of the worst acting I've ever seen on wrestling. I've seen a lot of bad acting on wrestling.
On
he
this
turns
episode.
around. Oh, yeah. Exactly. This one episode is awful. And he turns around, and we see the Undertaker's hand reach out just from under the camera and just goozle Chavo by the throat. And the camera's Chavo's looking into the camera, and he's like, and then it goes off. That's it. And it was awful and stupid and hokey, and it's the month of September, and I just want to say, hey man, wake me up when September ends, because this is hot garbage.
Next week, September 26, 2008, this is the final episode of SmackDown on the CW, and I think they canceled them because of last week's how terrible the show was, man. I think that's it right here.
Yeah, you're right.
But in all honesty, it is actually the final CW SmackDown. UPN merged with WB and became the CW, and SmackDown moved over there. But then SmackDown didn't really fit with the whole CW vibe, as they were,
like One Tree Hill.
That sort of stuff. And now it's all superhero shows. But
yep, love it.
Yeah, it fit in a lot more now. But
yeah.
Oh, man, it just keeps getting worse. Chavo and Vickie are in the locker room backstage, and Vickie asks Chavo to tell her what Undertaker told him last week. She's like, tell me again, because this whole build-up is about rewatching and repeating all the same things we've seen or heard from.
Yeah.
So Chavo, he goes into great detail.
Undertaker, he had his hands around my neck. I could feel his tendons getting tighter and tighter around my neck. And I couldn't breathe, Vickie. I couldn't breathe. It felt like my head was going to pop.
But Undertaker let go because he wanted him to be a messenger to tell Vickie that tonight he's coming for her. And Chavo tries to leave, but Vickie stops him and says, No. I need you to go back and get the Big Show and come right back here to protect me. So then Chavo leaves. Jeff Hardy comes into the office and demands a match with Kozlov. Big Hero denies him. Jeff Hardy runs around to leave her office and runs into the Big Show. Big Show gives Vickie a hug and stands by her side. So Big Show's going to protect Vickie tonight. Chavo comes in later on and tells Vickie and Big Show, like, guys, I think we need to be worried about The Undertaker here. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
We know, dude. We've been
paying attention for 20 years.
He's like, I just have a funny feeling Undertaker might get to us tonight, like he's done over the past month.
Right.
Big Show's like, no, Chavo, you're abandoning Vickie and your family. Don't you remember I knocked out the Undertaker at Unforgiven?
Last week I played that footage over and over. Maybe you've forgotten. Sit down, I'll show it to you again. Sit. Look at this.
He cues it up like the fifth time. Show says Undertaker, he might get to you, Chavo, but there's no way he's going to get to Vickie. Because if he tries, I'll take him out of action. So Vickie, as a punishment to Chavo, books him against Jimmy Wayne Yang.
Yes, sir. WCW Thunder match.
Somehow, yes. Yes, absolutely. 10 years later, still here on SmackDown. But after Chavo defeats Jimmy Wayne, the lights flicker. Lights go out, actually, I believe. And just for a second. They just flicker for a second, and Chavo freaks out about it. He runs to the back and asks Big Show and Vickie what they're going to do about Undertaker. And Show says, well, it's 4:20 as we're recording this, Travis. So Big Show says they're going to smoke him out. And Chavo says they don't need him. And Vickie says, okay, suit yourself. You can join us in the ring or you can hang out in here by yourself. And so Chavo decides to join them in the ring. Where the audience in attendance, as Big Show and the Guerreros make their way out, the audience in attendance are treated to this same video package about Unforgiven that we've seen 17 times now over the past 2 weeks. And I'm watching this all like on the same day, and I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, me too.
Fast forwarding through this so many times. Vickie starts taunting the Undertaker. Chavo's freaking out about it. He's like trying to warn her, tell her, don't do this, don't do this. And then Big Show's all cocky and confident. He says, Undertaker's not going to come out here tonight. He's lost his nerve. I crushed his spirit. I broke his jaw. I destroyed the myth of the Undertaker. Lights out. Gong hits. Lights come back on. And Chavo is mysteriously gone from the ring. And then,
oh no, what's happened?
What could it be? Chavo then mysteriously appears on the big screen, and he's being choked out by the Undertaker in Vickie's office. And I'll give you 2 guesses to figure out where this is all going to go. Big Show runs backstage to save Chavo and leaves Vickie all alone in the ring wondering what's going on. Taker just tosses Chavo around the office like a rag doll, and the video feed shorts out all over again. And then for some reason, this is the weirdest part, Taz decides this is a good time to go interview Vickie Guerrero about her thoughts on this.
Well, I have my thoughts about why I think that happened. I'll tell you once this is over.
Okay, because I couldn't figure it out. He starts up the steps, and then the lights go out, the gong hits again, and wouldn't you know it, the Undertaker is in the ring again with Vickie. And he milks this, man. He backs Vickie into a corner. She cries out in fear. He puts one hand on one rope, puts another hand on the other rope, rolls his eyes in the back of his head, grabs Vickie's throat, and chokes her for a really long time.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable. Before he picks her up and delivers a tombstone for the second time ever, I believe, to Vickie Guerrero here. Finally taking her soul from her, I guess, as he does the pose on top of her. And, man, what a way to leave the CW right here. The
There you go.
Undertaker taking Vickie Guerrero's soul. See, I tell you, it kind of fits in with the CW nowadays.
It does. It does. Well, I was going to say that I thought Taz had to give Taker a cue, like by stepping on the or kicking their stairs or something. But then his music hit and the lights went like, so never mind. Maybe that wasn't the case. I don't know. But maybe that was the cue, is him hitting like the staircase.
It could be.
But still, it is weird. Like in kayfabe wise, why is it like I gotta get the scoop right now? Gotta get the scoop, the Red Hook scoop. So why is that not a segment that Taz has called the Red Hook Scoop, where he just interviews people?
Might be.
Might
Look
be on
forward to
AEW.
AEW coming soon.
Yeah, man. Well, the next week, how are we still talking about this?
God, this is it, man. This is the last
All
one.
right, here we go. Go home show for No Mercy. This is October 3rd. This is the first SmackDown on My Network TV, which was a very short-lived broadcast network, and this is an all-star kickoff for SmackDown. You know, we're going to put SmackDown's best foot forward by having all three brands on it, just giving people false hope for what SmackDown could be, because you actually will only get a third of these superstars next week. So that's just the way I looked at it. And we got a trash new theme song. I didn't think it could get worse.
Keep getting worse.
They go down in quality. It is amazing how they consistently get worse and worse. So, but I don't even remember it. It's awful, but I did think it's cool though. The last icon shown on like the screen of who's gonna be here tonight was Taker, and he gets the biggest pop of them all. So, but again, it's the go home show for No Mercy. JR and the Taz take us back to last week's events with Taker, what happened, and then we see Big Show walking backstage, and he goes into the office of the general managers where we see Mike Adamle from Raw. And our old boy, Teddy Long.
Oh, playa!
Exactly. He's with Tiffany.
Given the occasion, Teddy, you and I look pretty sporty, but Tiffany is off the charts, man.
But you can believe that, player. And you know what? I'm proud to be here on SmackDown tonight. I mean, big night for My Network TV. Outstanding player.
Indeed it is.
And he's the general manager of ECW, excuse me, for those of you keeping score. So he got demoted to that show. He still works Tuesday nights. I don't know why he can't be on SmackDown as well, but
bring him back.
I know. Well, Big Show asks why they're in Vickie's office, and they say, Teddy's like, well, as a former GM of SmackDown, maybe I could help since she's out of action tonight. And Big Show tells the three of them to get out of my office, so he's taking over. He's in charge tonight. So Chavo comes in, is like, man, my back is just killing me from last week, and Show's like, don't shut up, I'm in charge tonight. And he says, Chavo's like, well, I'm a Guerrero, so I should be in charge. And they go back and forth blaming each other and, who's on first, who's in charge, yada, yada. And Big Show's like, you got a match tonight, and if you don't compete, you're going to have a match against me. So I don't know why Chavo, all of a sudden, Big Show hates him, but it is what it is.
Yeah, they're just like killing time here on the show. They run out of ideas.
They really are. And so Big Show comes to the ring, and he addresses the camera and says that he knows Vickie's watching from home or hospital, whatever, and he just wants her to know that he's got things under control. And so he's arranged a very special match for Chavo tonight. And Chavo comes out, and Justin Roberts is going to announce his opponents. We got Mark Henry and his tag team partner, the Great Khali. So if you're tuning in to My Network TV for the first night, here you go.
All the stars.
All the stars, baby. So, of course, Chavo gets next to murdered by these guys. He's just a whipping boy this month, man. So, and afterward, Big Show comes in and gets a knockout punch on Chavo, and then he gets on the mic and says that he hopes Taker's watching, and he can do that just as easily to Undertaker at No Mercy, and he's going to show him no mercy at No Mercy. So, got to get that pun in there.
Got to, man.
Yeah.
Did they do that whole apology segment at Unforgiven? Because it's called Unforgiven?
Unforgiven. I do think so, yes. Yep. I dubbed the Unforgiven. He's not forgiven there yet. It wasn't lost on me, the irony there. So, well, you know, he drops us with that pun, I'll show you no mercy, no mercy. And then we get the gong hits, the flicker of the lights, and Big Show gets out of the ring. And as he's going up the aisle, it happens again, and it happens again. And this time the purple lights come on, and Taker is actually standing in the ring. Big Show's at the top of the ramp, and Taker's just staring him down, does the eye roll and the throat slash. And that's all she wrote, ladies and gents, as we head into No Mercy 2008.
I feel bad for My Network TV. They get a Mark Henry Great Khali match, and Undertaker just standing on the stage.
Standing on the stage, or in the ring, yeah. Yep, that's it.
They will get some Undertaker content here soon enough, though. But like you said, No Mercy 2008, October 5th, 2008, from the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon. And that was the final Unforgiven pay-per-view last month. This is not the final No Mercy, but it is the last one for 8 years before it's brought back in 2016 here. Not a ton of memorable No Mercy moments. First thing that comes to my mind is that ladder match between the Hardys and Edge and Christian from 1999. And hey, what do you know? Another ladder match is going to be quite memorable on this show, as you know, the Undertaker Edge feud has been dominating 2008, but Undertaker is going to take a back seat this month to that Jericho HBK rivalry as they kind of end their storyline here with a fantastic ladder match in the main event.
Amazing. It's not necessarily a spot fest, it's a story, but it's a story fest. They're telling a story in this match. It's not just a high spot thing. The story's been building all year. It's great. I highly recommend that. And also, man, JBL gives a world beater heel promo about the government bailout. Did you see it?
I didn't see it.
It's fantastic. Like, he's like thanking the government for bailing out the rich people like him. And he wants to thank Congress and Senator Obama for bailing him out because he gets to go back to Wall Street and revel in his money. While it is, and it's kind of funny the way things are going in 2020 with this kind of stuff too. So it was funny to me.
That's cool.
Good stuff. He's always great.
He does, man. That's perfect for him.
Yeah.
Well, after that great segment, for some reason, Crime Time and Sergeant Slaughter, along with all them divas, as Teddy would say, they steal JBL's limo and drive off with it. So I saw that part.
No reason. We'll rewind it about 2 more minutes.
Why is Sergeant Slaughter in it?
It's great.
Anyway, after that happens, we get a video package. As if we didn't see it enough, Big Show knocking out Undertaker. We get to see it again here. And this match is going to go on third from the top underneath the two world title matches. Yeah, makes sense. And we've got JR and the Taz on commentary, as per usual here.
Just like AEW.
Just like AEW, man. Some things don't change. Big Show coming out first. And, you know, of course, they're hyping up his massive size. And as usual, Undertaker makes Big Show wait for a good little while before his entrance begins.
Yeah, and when he comes out, Taker does finally, and I like that JR's like, and so we begin, ladies and gentlemen, because we got this spectacular entrance, all the fire, all the flame, really cool, a lot of purple lightning and screens here, just really, really neat, entrance set here, and boy, you can tell they're in the Pacific Northwest because JR is about to kill us here. He says that, he says that the Sasquatch himself has come out of the hills of the Pacific Northwest. He's walking toward the ring.
So now Undertaker is a Sasquatch.
Yeah, man, the Sasquatch who walks with angels, I guess we could say. So, Taz points out that Big Show doesn't seem fazed or worried at all here, which is true. He doesn't seem, because he knows he can knock him out with his punches. So Taker completes his entrance and shows shadow boxing in the corner and got an Undertaker's #1 fan sign in the crowd. I wanted to point that out. So,
man, a lot of fans here for Undertaker. Like you said, another cool pay-per-view entrance here with a big giant set and lots of video screens and stuff. And JR, he's got a bunch of lines saved up as he says,
"The Black Clad Warrior is here tonight to seek retribution against the encyclopedian Big Show."
Now Big Show's got one eye.
Yeah, what the heck? Does he not know what a
Now-
cyclops is?
If Taker had like gouged his eye or he had an eye patch on, like, but why is he? Is Taker Odysseus?
He got-
I don't. Yeah.
He got his X-Men mixed up, man. I think he's meant to say the Colossus Big Show, not Cyclops.
Cyclopean.
He's confused on his X-Men.
Vince. Oh man, I don't know,
I
man.
had to rewind that to make sure that's
Oh,
actually
me
what he
too.
said.
Yeah, he's dropping into Sasquatch, the Cyclopean. But I just don't, man. Vince is on a tear this month,
God.
just dropping these words on these people. So
Killed me.
yeah, well, Big Show, like I said, he's confident. We get really cool camera angle. The camera pans out, and we see Undertaker raising the lights. We see the whole crowd there, which we don't normally get to see that shot. So it's pretty cool, man. Well, the bell rings, and I think Chuck Robinson's in the ring with us here tonight, and the bell rings, and they go at it. You know, it's kind of a grudge match thing here. So Taker goes right at Big Show with some soup bones, and Big Show clotheslines Taker out of the ring. But of course, this is kind of harkening back to the hokey days of Taker and the supernatural, and so Taker's going to land that perfect 10 landing on the floor.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen him do that the past
Not
few
much.
months, but he does it here. And then he gets up on the apron and hits another sort of old school maneuver that we've seen him do many, many times, an apron stunner on the Big Show. But Big Show, he quickly recovers. He doesn't take a lot of bumps here. You know, he's got to take a lot to knock him off his feet. And he knees Undertaker off of the apron. He heads to the outside and he starts unloading some punches into Taker's ribs and whips him into the barricade. And JR's got another great line queued up.
Oh yeah, he said that wall moved, cracked, and popped. Was that the Undertaker's body? it's all over it
Crackle, and
tonight.
pop.
That's right, baby. Well, Big Show grabs Taker, but he slips out and shoves Show face first into the ring post here, and then Taker again. He's a veteran. He slides in the ring and back out to break the count. He's not done. He doesn't want to win by count out. He wants to punish Big Show for helping him, let Vickie spit in his face, basically. So get some apron punches here, and Taker's doing that apron offense. And then he goes up and hits that apron leg drop. And I don't know if I've seen the fans get more excited than they did here in Portland this night for that apron leg drop. They love that move in Portland.
They're feeling it, man. They're feeling Taker here. But Big Show is able to recover and get back on his feet and kind of backs himself into a corner. And Undertaker uses that to hit a few of those big stinger splashes. But Show recovers again and comes running out of the corner with a running clothesline on Undertaker. Hits some uppercuts into the ribs and then just hits a classic old school body slam. And then an elbow drop for a 2 count on Taker as Big Show's starting to dominate this portion of the match.
Yeah, he's going. He's hungry, so he's punching at those ribs again, man, trying to get some, Sasquatch meat, I guess.
Let me get that rib back.
Give me that rib back. Going for the McRib. So, and then he hits one of the world's worst Russian leg sweeps I've ever seen.
It's pretty ugly.
I remember him doing it back in WCW to like Luger and like Macho Man stuff, like back in the day when he was a giant. But this one looks like it's like if you're teaching someone how to do it. Like it looks real bad.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
It was the first time in a long time he'd probably done it, but yeah, it's not good. And he gets a 2 count and gets some body blows to Taker by Taker, but Big Show kicks him off, and then Taker gets some rights in the middle of the ring, and then they just have a malfunction here.
Yeah, I couldn't quite figure out what was happening here, but Taker kind of reverses something into the Taker care of business, that dragon sleeper that he hasn't done too much lately, and then they kind of can't figure out what to do here. It doesn't quite land right. It doesn't quite stick, so they kind of stumble into the corner and have to talk things out for a second before Big Show goes for a Vader bomb on Undertaker, but Undertaker rolls out of the way. He starts going through the moves of doom, comes rolling out, hits his flying clothesline.
He gets a 2 count after that and the leg drop, and then he goes up for old school. But Big Show catches him by the throat in a goozle, and he's going to hit a big old choke slam to him, which was a good near fall here, a 2 count. And you don't see too many people, catch him in a choke slam. So just maybe Kane and Big Show. So that's about it. But pretty cool to see that as a reversal for the old school. And then Big Show again, say what you will about this knockout punch that's going to become the WMD. I tell you what, Big Show does a good job with the theatrics of it. He holds his hand up. He like pulls all his. I don't know how to describe it. He's you're seeing his fingers like come together, and he's selling it to the guy in the back seat or in the top of the arena. He really is, and that's wrestling 101. You're playing to the audience, and he does a good job letting you know this is coming. I really do gotta applaud him for that.
It's old school wrestling, man. I don't have a problem with that being a finishing move, especially because it's.
Some people didn't like it at the time. They just thought it was stupid.
I know. But
I don't.
If it's going to be believable by anybody, it's going to be believable by the Big Show. And like I said, it's like, I know there's people that don't like Jericho's Judas effect elbow, but it's all about how you build the move up.
Yes.
It's about working smarter, not harder. Like,
exactly.
You don't have to do this complicated, convoluted move. You don't have to do something where you make the other guy take a bump. Like
nope.
That's how wrestling is actually. That's kind of the point of wrestling. But that's me on my soapbox. But anyway, the move is getting over. But Big Show loads it up. Taker ducks it. He goes for a choke slam, but he can't get Big Show up. And so Show goozles Undertaker right back. And, the crowd's into this, man. Because it's the rare time where Big Show it's two giants, man. It's like, and that's, I know the work rate, smart mark people don't always like that stuff, but 90% of the crowd in these arenas, that's fun for them to see. Especially, and these two guys, they kind of have pretty good chemistry together.
They do.
As much crap as people give Big Show. But he chops Undertaker's hand down and goes for a chokeslam again. And Taker reverses it into a DDT. And, again, you give Big Show all the crap you want. He takes this DDT like he's Rob Van Dam. Dude, spikes his head, goes straight up, 90-degree angle, and flips over, man.
Oh, he does, man. It's awesome to see. I loved it. And, Taker finished off Big Daddy V with that move a few months ago, so why not get it on another big fat guy here? So it's obviously a Achilles heel for these big dudes. But get a really good 2 count here, and then Taker just goes nuts on Big Show here, just viciously punching him. Like, they look pretty stiff shots too, but and then he goes to like Charles Robinson's getting in there, like trying to separate Taker out, and Undertaker's going to go for that ref intimidation, and he scares Charles Robinson all the way across the other side turnbuckle. And Taker kind of chases him over there, intimidating him. Well, this gives the Big Show an opportunity to undo the turnbuckle pad, and Taker's going to turn his attention back to Big Show, and Big Show's going to slam his head right into it where Charles Robinson can't see.
I thought this was great. I thought it's another old school finish. Talk about old school wrestling, the heel cheats.
It's an old school match, yeah.
Yep. So Undertaker runs into that turnbuckle, and then Show gives him a knockout punch, and then gives him another one, and Undertaker is out, man. He is down on the ground. He can barely get up, and Big Show lifts up Undertaker's head off the ground and gives him just like a donkey punch, like right to the back of his head, man. And Charles Robinson is like, that's it. It's over. Calls for the bell. Yep. Guess it's a TKO here, and that gets huge boos from the crowd, man. And Big Show's like, is he out? Raise my hand. And tells Charles Robinson to raise his hand, and Charles Robinson like shrugs his shoulders and raises his hand, and Big Show is playing it up really well here, man. Just confident smile on his face, and he looks back at Undertaker struggling to recover as Undertaker sells it in the ring for a really long time.
And that's the key. It's only a 10-minute match here, but the key is what happens afterward here, because, like you said, Taker has collapsed. He's slowly getting up. Portland's chanting, Taker, Taker, and he looked like, remember when he really got knocked out in the Brock Lesnar match in 2014, WrestleMania 30 we'll get to? He looks like that here. His eyes are he looks like Brock when Brock botched the shooting star press. Like, that's what Taker's doing a great job selling what a concussed wrestler looks like. Looks like he is just, his eyes look glazed over. He's pulling himself up on the ropes. Finally makes it to his feet, doing a great job. And then JR has another line. He says, that the Undertaker is the most respected man in the annals of WWE. And, he hasn't seen him treated like this by anybody, you know. And so, really good job to Taker here. He's put Edge over for the last year, just trying to get him to the next level. And Big Show doesn't need that. He's Big Show, but they're obviously trying to do something else with Big Show here. Get this knockout punch over, and he's soon going to make it over to Raw and become a top heel over there too. So, you know, really trying to do something else with Big Show here. And again, these guys have good chemistry in the match. It's just not the build up was kind of lackluster for me.
Exactly. Yeah, the Big Show, I mean, the build-up to this was such a downgrade from the Edge Undertaker storyline that we had so much fun discussing. So such a steep jump off the hill with that. But the match itself, like, I've enjoyed the other Undertaker Big Show matches that we've done. They have really good chemistry with each other. And like you can tell, this is the beginning of a storyline. This is going to be far from over here. So, yeah, I had zero problems with this. It's probably not going to make either one of our top 10s for this era, but, you know, for what it is, it's fine. It works.
Sure.
It's, you know, it's old school.
Yeah, it's a very old school match in a very old school town, Portland. That's an old school place, man. You know, Roddy Piper, guys start there. You know, Pat Patterson wrestled there a lot. You know, Ray Stevens. You know, Raven started wrestling there a long. He wrestled there a long time when he was to Scotty the Body or whatever. So, really good wrestling town up there, and they just really enjoyed this old school match. So, plus it's Taker, so you can't go wrong.
Bingo. And we're not at the end of it yet, folks. Like we said, this is a trilogy here, so we will keep this podcast rolling on to the last ride. Next week, as we cover Cyber Sunday 2008, Undertaker and The Big Show yet again with a gimmick by the fans choosing here. So an added stipulation to try to amp this thing up here. I believe it's Last Man Standing this time. So
they're like three of the same options. So yeah, basically, whichever one is going to be the same thing. Yeah, we'll get to that next week, though.
We'll get to that next week. Until then, we want to hear your comments about this matchup here. What did you think of it? Did you need to see that Undertaker Big Show Unforgiven footage just one more time? Could you not get enough of it? Big Show good. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the House Bunny? What about Click? What are your reviews of those? Hit us up at Talking Taker on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I love the movie conversations we veer off into, Travis.
It happens. I think we did the best last week. I'm trying to reach for something. This is exactly the equivalent of it parallels the content of the story we have. We used it all on Edge last week, and now we're scraping the bottom of the barrel for content for cinema. But yeah, anyway,
Click's fine. It's a decent Adam Sandler movie.
Isn't his wife Courtney Cox?
Kate
or
Beckinsale.
No, is it Kate Beckinsale? Ooh, yeah, even better. So,
ooh la la. Well, speaking of Instagram,
was she a vampire in that movie too?
Probably. That's all she can do, man.
Anyway, go ahead.
I did some running commentary on an old Superstars episode while I was sitting here bored in my quarantine. It was Undertaker and Nails had quite the confrontation on there, so it's kind of inspired by the Something to Wrestle episode with Nails that just released on Pritchard's show. So if you haven't heard that yet, you can go there, and you can go on our Instagram. I've got it like highlighted at the top of the page. Talked about the whole episode. It's, if you're bored, you can click through that. Tried to be funny on there. Might do some more of those while I'm sitting around the house here. And, of course, you can support the show by subscribing, by leaving a rating, leaving a comment, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can support us by signing up for a free month of Stitcher Premium and using the code TALKINGTAKER, or you can go over to tpublic.com, like one of our listeners did, and picked up a couple of stickers. You can pick up a sticker, a t-shirt, a hat, a mouse pad. I don't know. You can do all sorts of stuff over there with any of our Talking Taker logos. And then lastly, I want to thank the guys from the Bottom Line Wrestling Podcast, Mike and JV. We haven't recorded it yet, but I believe it's going to drop here later this week, or I believe it'll be out now by the time you listen to this. Travis, you and I are going to do some watch-along commentary here, and this will be fun for you guys out there that have listened to our show the whole time. It's a match that we did not do an episode about. The only pay-per-view match we didn't do an episode about. But the Bottom Line guys asked us to come on there and talk about it. Undertaker Chris Benoit from Rebellion 2000. And then we're also going to watch the main event of that show, which is a fatal 4-way with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and a couple other guys. I can't remember.
Yeah,
what
at
else
least two more people.
Yeah. But,
that's not important. The important thing is Taker match. So.
Of course, we want you guys to listen to that and subscribe to their podcast as well, as they go match by match through Stone Cold Steve Austin's career. And they've obviously hitting the end of 2000, so they're in the final days of Stone Cold's career. But 2001, that's a heck of an in-ring year.
Oh, yeah.
Storyline-wise, they're going to have stuff to talk about. Let's just say that.
Yeah, they will. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, check out those guys over at that podcast, and we'll like I said, we'll be on there. I think it's already dropped at this point. Who knows? The timeline's on this stuff. It's like one episode of Lost. So anyway, if you were there in the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon, in October 5th, 2008, let us know what you thought about this match, this night, this ladder match. It just really stole the show. What a great piece of storytelling. But anyway, what'd you think about it? Were you cheering for that apron leg drop or not, And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe and take her easy.
I am the happiest, most blessed man alive. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you and our wonderful Congress for shelling out billions and billions of dollars so that people like me could keep all of our money. Because my good friends Barney Frank and Nancy Pelosi, they understand that rich people like me make the world go round, and I employ people like you, and the good of the country is what's good for me and saving my money. It may cost you $10,000 per household based upon my projections, but I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Senator Obama. I want to thank Senator McCain for voting for me and protecting my money with this bailout. And from the Layfield family to all of the great taxpayers in this country who have put their money, risked their future, so that I could keep my penthouse apartment on Central Park. I gotta tell you, from the Layfield family to all of you, I love you. Thank you. And now as I get in my limousine and go back to New York, don't think I'm gonna forget this backwoods wonderful city and all of you people. God bless you all. God bless America. And most of all, God bless me.